Welcome to Journey to Wholeness, hosted by author and life coach Indiana Tuggle, where we help Christian women heal, achieve mental wellness, and spiritual growth so you can accomplish your goals and purpose.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am your host, Indiana Tuggle. Today, I have with me Nadine Malcolm, and we are sitting down to discuss reversing diabetes. But before we get into it, we're going to let Nadine introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. I am Nadine Lenora. I'm a health and fitness specialist with a concentration on diabetes. I help type 2 diabetics reverse their diabetes by way of helping them change their eating habits while incorporating exercise into their everyday lifestyle. But not only do I do that, I also help the busy woman become the healthiest version of herself by making healthy living convenient and flexible through virtual experiences. So therefore, there should be no excuses why you should not be exercising or attempting to eat healthier.
Awesome. I love that. So let's jump right on in. I got my list of questions over here. So we're going to jump in because this is one of those subjects that's kind of near and dear to my heart. I am not a diabetic. However, I am borderline, and I've been borderline for quite a few years. So I might be halfway doing something right, but I haven't all the way gotten it together either. So I'm interested to learn about this subject as well. So, my first question is, what inspired you to focus your career on health and fitness, specifically helping type 2 diabetics?
To be honest, I that's not something that I wanted to do. Growing up, I actually wanted to be a math teacher. But then when I got to I was into dance, I was into athletics. I got to college and I realized they didn't have dance as a major. So I went into exercise science as my major for my bachelor's degree. I got that. And then I went on to get my master's in sports management. And then I ended up at the post office. I'm like, Lord, what's going on here? Like, I did all of this schooling and I ended up at the post office. And then I started hating the post office. Like, it got to a point where I'm like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. So I have a friend and she's a therapist. It's like prayer and therapy in one. So we call it a therapist.
Uh-huh.
So I started journaling. I'm like, Lord, I want to leave the post office by so and so date. Like that used to be my prayer, like every single day. And he told me to leave. My last day was December 31st, 2018.
Mm.
And then in January, I did a vision board. I'm like, why am I doing this? What am I gonna put on this? And I was playing worship music, and he kept telling me to put diabetes on there. I'm like, but I don't have diabetes. Why do you want me to do this?
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, I want you to help type 2 diabetics. Diabetes runs on my dad's side of the family. So I kind of understand why this is the route that he wanted to take me on. But then I'm like, I don't have this. How am I going to help these people if I don't know, like I've never experienced this before?
Mm-hmm.
So all I had to start doing was research.
Yeah.
Like, because type 2 diabetes is something that can be prevented and it can be reversed if you do what you're supposed to be doing.
Mm.
But I've noticed, like, when I speak to people, like the older people, like my dad, like 60s, 70s, they don't want to change. Like, they're okay with eating a certain way and doing a certain thing. But then when I speak to them, they're like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Okay. I'm not going to force you.
Mm. Yeah, we can be a stubborn bunch, and I say we because I'm 47. My mom died from complications of diabetes, but hers led to congestive heart failure, being on dialysis, and things like that. And she died because she didn't want to change her lifestyle. And I feel like I'm getting to that stubborn place of where I don't want to change. And it's like you're starting to ask yourself, well, what is it? Why am I being so stubborn? When I know, when you literally see it, you going to the doctor annually or biannually or whatever, and you're seeing the doctor present you with these numbers. You're watching your weight go up. You're watching your body changing, and you're not being able to even consume the same foods that you did once in the past because my body is changing, right? And some of the stuff that I love it, but my body's like, girl, when you gonna stop? Because we not feeling the same. It's like the guilt immediately comes. Now it can be in mid bite now that the guilt comes. Like, you ain't supposed to be eating that, girl. And you're gonna be stuffed and stocked up for the next couple of days because you done ate this. Which brings me to my next question. We know that type 2 diabetes is irreversible. We've heard a lot of the conversation from doctors, from coaches, from specialists, from whatever. But how do you help clients overcome that mindset?
Yeah, it all starts in the mind. I have to get to the root of why they eat the way that they eat, because there's always a root as to why you're eating the way that you're eating. It could be something that happened in the past and you use food as a comfort, or it could be how you grew up. But if you want change, you have to be the change. Like, it all starts in the mind. So I work with the root first and then their mind. And then we get into all of the exercising and eating right.
Yeah, I feel you on that one because for me growing up, and I think in the Black community, especially if you grew up poor, poverty, food was everything for us. Food was love. Food was celebration. Food was all of the emotions. You sad, you go, grandma be the first one. Oh, baby, come on. I got you. I got you a sandwich. I'm could bake you a cake. I'm gonna do something. I remember going to my grandma's house, and as soon as I walked through the door, my grandma made you your favorite pineapple upside down cake. I ain't even saying hello. She just already telling me that. So food was everything. We didn't have anything. You might couldn't get everything you wanted, but we had food stamps. Right. So with food stamps, you could get anything that you wanted when it comes to the kitchen. You had all the snacks you wanted, you had all the food you wanted. Families was getting together and gathering and cooking all these good meals. So like I said, food was love. So it's hard to reverse that when everything in our culture is surrounded by food. All we need is an excuse to cook. Any day ended in Y is an excuse to have some good food. And we make fun of it now, talking about being big back and all of this and the other. We kind of make fun of our toxicity. Even though it's killing us and we know it's going to take us to an early grave, we still find humor in it and we don't want to let it go. We really don't. So what are the other than that and the mindset? I know it's a fight. It's definitely a fight. So what are the most common misconceptions about diabetes and diet that you encounter?
Well, that you can't eat certain foods. You can eat, just in moderation. But you have to stay away from the fried foods. You got to stay away from the fatty oils. You got to cut back on the sodas or take it out completely. People say it's hard to stop eating this, or it's hard to stop eating that. It's not. It's a mindset thing. You don't have to cut it out cold turkey. Cut it out little by little, and you'll be okay.
Hmm. I think for us, if we paid attention to our consumption, like this is why I'm a proponent of journaling and starting everything with journaling. If you really write down your food and your drink, for a month or day or week or something like that, you would really be able to see it. But because things are a habit to us, we tend to not see it. you know, or for me, just looking at my bank account and I'm seeing all of these restaurants and fast food restaurants that I'm going to every day, $20, because you can't get a $5, $10 meal no more. So you spending $15 and $20 a day, and some people 2 and 3 times a day, eating food. So if you don't really pay attention to stuff like that, you really feel like, oh, it ain't that bad, it's not that much, or something like that. But when you see it collectively as a whole, and when we look at our serving size, just the serving size for us, if we could cut that out, that would be such a big thing, right? So what are some practical ways that people can incorporate, diet changes into their daily routine? I ain't getting into the exercise yet. We're gonna get into that in a minute, but just the diet changes. What are some practical ways that they can incorporate healthy eating?
They can start to cut back on the amount of food that they're excuse me, putting on their plate. Instead of, okay, I'm come from a Caribbean background and we like a lot of rice. Instead of having, I would say, like 2 portions of rice, you can have half a portion of rice, some veggies, and then your protein.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a lot. And you can also snack during the day, but not chips and cakes. You can have fruit, veggies. I know it sounds horrible, but it's really not.
Yeah. I was reading one of my books that I read, Made to Crave, and Lisa Turkhurst, she made me fall out live, and she was like, never in my life have I ever craved a carrot. And I was like, what you saying? Because it sounds good, fruit. I love fruit. But the other stuff I'd be like, "Ugh." But even fruit, it doesn't compare to when I think about most of my cravings. I want some sweet. Do I want this fruit?
And that's
Or do I
that's
want this
another
chocolate?
problem. That's another problem with the African American community. Every time you eat, you want something sweet afterwards.
Hmm.
And that could just raise your blood pressure, raise your cholesterol.
But is that tied to because we're already eating a whole bunch of carbs, and so because you've eaten all the carbs, now your body is craving the sweet, which is more carbs. Is that
Mhm.
true, or is that just something I made up in my head?
No. It's that because even when I eat, sometimes I'll be like, I need something sweet. But I don't like cake. I don't like sweet. Sounds
Bless,
weird, right?
bless you.
When I got pregnant with my son, I'm like, I don't want to get this gestational diabetes. Like, I thought that anybody could just get it just like that. So I'm like, let me cut back on the sugar.
Mhm.
He's 14 now. So that was a while ago. And that was my start of not consuming a lot of sugar.
Mhm.
Like, if I eat too much sugar now, I can have 2 Oreos and I will get an instant headache
Mm.
because of the sugar.
Wow.
And that headache will last about 2 days.
Mm.
So I know my triggers. You have to know your triggers. You
Mhm.
have to know when to stop.
Mm.
It all goes back to you as an individual. You have to want to stop. You have to want to change. If you don't want it, I can't want it more for you than you want for yourself.
Mhm. But we want both though. We want the
But
good food
you can't,
and we
no,
want to lose the weight.
but you have to do it in moderation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know for the big family gatherings, everybody packs their plate,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't do that.
Mm,
If you want to see a change, you can't do that.
you really can't. And the sad part is I think too it's how we consume it so fast. And we're sitting there and we're talking and we're laughing and we're joking and we got this whole plate of food and we just eating down, and then next thing you know, you on plate number two, and you not even paying attention. It's kind of like mindless eating. I think it's become so mindless now. And then one thing I've noticed with me is a regular serving size, my eyes be like, that ain't enough. But in reality, if I just eat it, if I stop thinking about it and eat it, by the time I finish, I'll be like, well, dang, I am full.
It's all
So
mind over matter.
it is.
It's
It
in your
is.
head.
It is. Oh, my head is big. My head is
Yeah.
my head is about as big as my stomach when I be looking at food, because I be like, if my eyes and my stomach be on one accord, because I be like, I need more than that. I need more than that. I be wanting it, but at the same time, I know that I don't. And like you said, you have to know your triggers. For me now, when I eat something sweet, it automatically triggers my inflammation, and my knees start hurting bad. And it's like, dang, that's why I was saying, it's like my body is like, yeah, you might like it, but we don't like it no more. We don't like that no more. And so you're gonna have to make a change. You're gonna have to make a decision. Do you want this or do you want to be hurt? Because this is what's going on. I'm rejecting it now. My body's like literally rejecting everything now. So it's kind of it's still like about a fight. And I think I feel like I'm having a temper tantrum. Really having an adult temper tantrum because I'm still trying to do it and my body is still saying no, but I'm still trying to do it. So now let's get into the exercise. How do you help people once you get past the mindset? How do you help them to start incorporating physical activity?
Well, I would see what their schedule is like and see if we can incorporate something together. And
Mm,
I will do like a Zoom call and work out with you for about 20 to 30 minutes so that
mm,
I know and I can see that you're actually working out. Because some people need the accountability.
mhm,
If I just tell you, go work out for 30 minutes, at least 3 days a week, you can tell me that you went to work out, but how am I going to know that you actually did it?
mm. See that?
So I like to hold people accountable.
Yeah, you definitely need that accountability at first, especially in the beginning, because it's really really hard to push yourself to do it on your own. And for me, that kind of works. Even if they don't have to physically be there with me, I'm one of those people I don't like to lie. So if you keep asking me, Indiana, did you exercise today? Did you exercise today? I'm not gonna lie. I'll be like, no, but eventually I'm gonna get tired of telling you no, and be like, let me get up and go ahead and do what I told this person to do, or I'll 100% ignore you, and then you're gonna be like, then you're gonna start talking bad. Well, you told me to be your accountability partner. And you said you wanted to do this, or you said you wanted to do that. So then I'm gonna feel bad about lying to you or not doing it. But the Zoom call, I love that. I've actually watched you today do some of your exercises on Facebook Live, so that was really really cool. You did something for I think about 10 minutes. So has that been beneficial? Do your clients like that, or do you still get that fight?
Some of them will fight me on it.
Mm-hmm.
Use about 3 times to give me pushback. And then I'll be like, okay, you got it. When you're actually ready to
Mm.
start and commit to this, then I'm here. I'm not going to want this for you more than you want it for yourself.
Mhm. But is that frustrating? as a
It's
coach?
very frustrating.
Mm,
It's very frustrating.
yeah, because you're at a
And
point where you feel like you want it more than them. Yeah.
then, yeah, and then I question myself, like, is this what I really want to do?
Mm,
Is this something that I really want to do? Like, sometimes it makes me want to give up, but I
mm,
know that there's other people out there that need my help.
yeah. There really is, and I can feel you on that because anytime you're trying to help people to make a change, the resistance is very heartbreaking, right? And as someone who in the helping profession, because I feel like as a health and fitness coach, you are in the helping profession, and when you're doing that and you're trying to do some of that hard work and that mind work with people to help them to change is very taxing on your own self-esteem, on your own motivation, because it's a lifestyle. This is a job for you as well as your passion, as well as your purpose, and you know that you can help. But that fight, and some people get nasty.
They do.
They get nasty. And I know me. I know me. I have to tell myself, Indiana, do not abuse your health because it's a fight. This is the hardest battle I've ever had to do in my life. And I've healed through trauma, low self esteem, confidence. I've been doing mental and emotional well being, spiritual growth. I've been doing all of that for 10 years. But this right here, this one,
Yeah. It gets very frustrating at times.
yeah. And
And it's like, okay, whatever. I don't care no more. I'm not doing this. And then that's when I like go into a shell and I don't want to be bothered. I stop posting.
yeah.
So
You just have to find other ways to generate income from it, because sometimes the one-on-one can be because you don't want to deal with the people and in their resistance, because that fight is a lot, and sometimes that fight can make people kind of like when the lifeguards say if you're trying to help people who are drowning and they'll end up drowning you because they're fighting you so much. That's kind of what it
mhm.
feels like when you're trying to coach and help somebody to change. It's like they're fighting you and they don't even realize that they're hurting you, and you're just trying to help them. Um, so, what advice do you have for women who are struggling to prioritize their health amidst their career, their family, and other responsibilities?
What advice do I have? Make a schedule. I
Mm,
mean, I know I've struggled with making a schedule, even though I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I do this. I having a schedule is tough for me.
mhm,
Make a schedule. See what you can fit in. See if you can fit in 10-minute exercise. All you need is 10 minutes.
mm,
All you need is 10 minutes. Watch a YouTube video. If you have kids, watch a YouTube video. Ask them to come work out with you. Make it a family thing.
mhm,
Try to, I know sometimes meal prepping is hard, especially if you have kids in sports, which I do have kids in sports also. It's hard,
mhm.
but it's doable. Make a schedule. That's
Yeah,
it.
making a schedule is kind of one of those things that people tend to run from. And I'm like, how do you expect you to change? You have to interrupt your routine in order to change, because, and most of us don't even realize that even though you haven't made a schedule on paper, you have one here
Mhm.
that you follow every day, like it's robotic that you follow every day, and you have to interrupt that, so you have to create that routine and decide what are you going to do each day. For me, what I've done is, because I love TV so much, I'm into series and shows and all type of stuff. What I do is, Indiana, if you're gonna watch that series, you better ride that bike while you do it.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. Because you sitting, you ain't moving, so you might as well be moving your body while you watch, or something like that. I said, for one of these shows that you sitting up here watching, you got to ride your bike while you doing it. And even with meal prep, I don't I don't do right, but I pay for meal prep. So
That's
I
if
found
you
I
can
found
afford it.
somebody who can do it for me and deliver, because I like convenience. And for me, just the convenience of not having to cook is worth it for me. So the same amount of money that I'm spending going through the drive-through, I can give to this chef over here to cook my meals for me. That's gonna help me be more, a little bit more healthy. But now I've come across the temptation of the weekends. You gotta have a cheat day. I can eat what I want on the weekends.
No, you cannot. Because then you're gonna, well, for you, you might bring it back up your inflammation. You might feel sick for a few days. You can't go back to the way things were.
You, you can't. I listened to one coach on TikTok, and somebody had asked her, "What about cheat days?" She said, "You don't have a cheat life," and I just
That's good. That's really good.
I was like, she ain't have to hurt us like that. With all of that. So, which is my next question: how has the virtual coaching transformed the way you really connect with your clients?
It's more about convenience. Since
Yeah.
COVID, because that's when I really started like taking off, it's more so for the client's convenience.
Hmm.
And exercising, I don't be like, oh, come meet me here or come meet me there. And I don't only have to work with people who live close to me. I can work with I'm in New York. I can work with someone in California. I can
Yeah.
work with someone in Texas. So it's
Hmm.
all about being able to do it virtually and
Hmm.
it being convenient.
Yes, that's amazing, because that's one of the excuses that you can help eliminate. People like, I don't have time to go to the gym. Well, you at the house, just cut the TV on.
You got time
You know?
to get on
Yeah,
a Zoom call with me.
right. You got time to scroll on Facebook, for hours and hours at a time. We are scrolling on social media. So it's one of those to where, if you can help, one of my things is I help try to eliminate some of my excuses and some of my temptations. Okay, Indiana, what is the common thing that you always tend to do every time to sabotage your efforts, or something like that? You had a bad day, so now all of a sudden I don't feel like cooking. I'm just gonna go get me a cheeseburger. That's what I'm gonna do. So I try to eliminate that, and especially if I'm looking at, okay, Indiana, last month you spent $400 in food. The meal prep don't cost but such and such. So you can go ahead and get that instead of this, or something like that. So you have to try and do that, and really have some hard conversations with yourself. So how do you stay, what is it, motivated as you dealing with these tough clients? How do you maintain your mental well-being?
A therapist, journaling, spending time with God, self
Yeah.
being by myself for a few, because I have a family of five.
Hmm.
So it tends to be mommy, honey.
Hmm.
So yeah, I need that time for myself.
Hmm. Absolutely. You have to have that you have to have that time. For me, you have to be able to carve out time for you. So how do you use your faith and your spirituality in working with your clients?
Well, first I let them know that I am a believer in God. It's up to them to work with me or not.
Hmm.
We, because with as a spiritual person, you always want to find the root of what is going on, why you feel this way, why you feel rejected, why you keep eating the way that you do, because there's a root for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So we pray, we find that out, and then I just go from there.
Yes. That's yeah. And what
You
about
have to have faith
yes.
to know that everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to.
And you have to be committed because it's not going to happen overnight. I find that's the biggest thing with myself, because, and I know for other people, just being observant, is that we want it quick. We want to, that's why diet industry and weight loss drugs and pills and all of this stuff is so prevalent. And I'm not knocking it. Do what you got to do to help you. I'm not knocking it because I've used them. I've used them all. I've been through so much, trying to get the weight off. But at the same time, it's still going to boil down to diet and exercise.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. At the end of the day, you still going to have to change your diet and your exercise. I don't care what you take. I don't care what you take. None of it is going to help you if you still gobbling down all of this food every day and you not moving. None of it's going to help you. I am a living witness. I had weight loss surgery. After that initial slope of losing because I could only consume a little bit at a time, after I did that and went back to my normal eating, it came right on back. The weight came right on back, and here we are. So it's like you have to be committed to the long-term process, because it's not going to overnight. And each time that we try to, I need to lose 30 pounds in 30 days, baby.
It's not, no. If you do, it was all water weight.
It's not gonna happen. That's not even realistic. If you do, yeah. And I don't even know what water weight is, but it's not realistic, and it's gonna come back just as fast as you lost it.
Yep.
Because you have imagine what you have to do to lose that much that fast.
And it's not going to be something that's healthy.
It's not healthy at all, and it's not sustainable at all. I've been there, done that. I've never lost anything that fast, but when you see it and people who've done it, it's like you it's not sustainable at all. um so what about some success story? Can you share with us some type of success story of a client who actually reversed diabetes under your guidance?
I have one client. It was
Uh-huh.
back in, I want to say 2021.
Uh-huh.
She had type 2 diabetes. She was taking all the medications. Then she met with me. We had a consultation. We spoke. I made a meal plan for her. She followed it, and I'm so happy she did. She did the exercising, and then she told me that it was reversed. I'm like,
Yeah. And how long did it take her?
well, with the exercise and changing her eating habit, because she was like, I can't do this no more. I need to get better. I need to feel better. And she also had knee problems. Once you have diabetes, everything starts coming.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably like 2 months. I want to say 2 months or a month and a half.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's amazing. So let's get into it. So how can people work with you? What is it like to work with Nadine? Walk us through the process.
Nadine.
Nadine, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, you can find me on Instagram or Facebook at Nadine Lenora on Instagram. Facebook is Nadine Malcolm. What is it like to work with me? I am kind, but I'm also direct.
Mhm.
I don't sugarcoat anything. Not a lot of people like that.
Mm.
Sucks to be you. I'm going to give it to you like how you need to get it. Either you receive it or you don't. You like me or you hate me.
Mhm. Mm. So is it from consultation, after consultation, do you set up the meal plan and all of that, and then you go from there? What happens?
Yeah, after our meeting, I take about 3 days to do the meal plan. I email it to them. I check in about 3 times a week for a month with them
Mhm.
to make sure they're actually following the meal plan, make sure they're actually exercising. It's up to you to do the
Yeah.
work.
Yes.
I'm just your pusher.
Yes. Your pusher. Sound like Ice-T. I remember that song. Your pusher. So can you as we get ready to close, can you share like 3 quick tips for staying consistent even on busy days? No excuses.
Make up your mind,
Mm.
make a schedule. Come on, make a schedule. Stay committed.
Mm. Make up your mind, make up schedule, and
And stay committed.
stay committed. Absolutely. I love that. So give us your website one more time.
Nadine, www.nadinelenora.com.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for these tips. I hope you guys that are listening are really, truly enjoying it. So reach out to Nadine so that you can get started on your health journey. 2025, let this be the last year. Talking to me now.
No,
Let this be the last year.
the last year.
That you put your health and your wellness on your goal plan, and that you actually don't do something about it, because research already shows that around about this time people give up.
Yep.
New Year's resolution around about a couple of weeks into January, people give up. So you're not gonna give up. That's one thing I like about me, is that even though it's been a struggle for years after years, I keep starting and stopping. I still keep starting and stopping. I'm not gonna give up. I'm going to keep trying to tackle it, and eventually I'm going to be committed and consistent for the long haul. I'm gonna stop doing it. Okay, 90 days. Okay, stop for a month. Then another 90 days, stop for a month. Losing the same 15, 20, 30 pounds over and over. I'm going to stop. Eventually, I'm going to stop. So going to keep going. I'm going to keep trying. And remember that it's your journey, your way. So you don't have to rush it. It didn't happen overnight. It did not happen overnight. So you can't expect it to come off overnight. And one thing that I tell myself is to stick to the plan. Stop looking at the scale and stick
Yes.
to the plan. Let that be your first measurement. Did you do what you said you was going to do? Did you do what your coach told you to do? Did you follow the meal plan? Did you do the exercises that she told you to do? And eventually your body is going to respond, right? And you have to stop measuring yourself by other people. People have so many, there are so many exercise diet routines, and eliminate this, don't do this, add this, take this supplement. That's is so much out there, and it all may work, but you have to find what works for you in your body. That's why I say, and when you set up with the coach, be honest. Don't be going to your coach line talking about something.
The only person that's hurting is yourself in the end.
Exactly. Don't be lying, talking about something. I don't really eat a lot of that. I don't really do that. I don't. Stop lying. Stop lying. Nobody can help you if you lie.
And we know better.
Exactly, because this scale is saying otherwise. It's something. The weight didn't get on, and you didn't get to diabetes from only eating a piece of cake once a week. I'm sorry to tell you, it didn't happen like that. You can stop lying to yourself, stop lying to your coach, and all of this. And sometimes the truth is what's going to set you free, because people then you can create a comprehensive plan when you have all the facts before you. So make sure that you allow honesty to be your guide. And it's okay. You can always course correct. I remember my pastor has been saying that for the last couple of months in church. You can always course correct. As long as you are self-aware, you can always course correct. But you, as long as you lying to yourself and trying to think that nothing is wrong, we can't fix that.
Mhm.
Can't fix that.
Be
You know,
honest.
be honest. Be honest. That is my last final word that I will say, is to be honest. So thank you again, Nadine, for joining me last minute, and taking time out of your busy schedule to get with us, and share your nuggets and expertise. I know I'm gonna be reaching out to you. So I hope anybody listening that they will reach out to you and join with you as well.
You have been listening to Journey to Wholeness, brought to you by Indie Writes, a spiritual growth and development company that helps you write your way to success and wholeness in every area of your life. We specialize in books and journals that promote mental wellness and Christian growth. Our journals provide inspirational articles, motivational quotes, biblical guidance, writing prompts to release your feelings, fears, and thoughts, as well as strategies for success to tackle your goals and pursue your purpose. Visit our website and join our mailing list at www.indiewrites.com to learn more.